If someone has compelling theories as to what happened at the Alfred P. Murrah building and why Mick Wysopal and Timothy McVeigh are the same person, please tell me. You guys know me. I'll die on this hill that my dad, Paul Wysopal, the FBI agent, is also Timothy McVeigh, the domestic terrorist who blew up the Oklahoma City building, the Murrah building, in 1995. Now, I know to my core, this is the same exact person. If you don't know, go to my top pinned video on Instagram here and listen to their voices. It's the same exact person. So here's what I think is going on and why this is the case. This picture is from a video of him literally outside of the Branch Davidians thing in Waco when the government went and assaulted the Branch Davidians and supposedly killed everyone in there, including a whole bunch of women and children and stuff. But Timothy McVeigh was there, and then a couple years later, the Oklahoma City bombing, okay? So, and then a few years after that, he pops up again, and he's outside of the Pulse nightclub shooting in like 2016 or whatever in Orlando. He's the special agent in charge of basically covering up that the Orlando nightclub shooting was done by another MK Ultra guy. Like, the guy was crazy, dude. He was like clearly not crazy in like the crazy delusional, like, oh, he's just doing a domestic terrorist. No, he was crazy in, like, the MK Ultra way. Like, he kept calling the 911 over and over and over again, like, while supposedly doing the shooting. Then Paul covered up all of the audio recordings. We don't have any of those audio recordings of him calling 911. Paul hid everything about this. So it got me thinking, and I go, okay, so the FBI and the ATF clearly did the Murrah building. We know that. There's been suspicion about that for decades at this point. And then you've got Paul Wysopal showing up as Timothy McVeigh back in the day. The through line there is the FBI. Paul literally works for the FBI, okay? When I saw that Paul was Timothy McVeigh and he works for the FBI, that's when it all clicked, dude. All of these domestic terror incidents, this, Orlando, the Pulse nightclub shooting, Columbine, the Boston bombing, 9/11, who is connected to all of that? The fucking FBI, dude. Always. Who's in charge of all the Epstein stuff and the fact that none of the files are getting released and the DOJ doesn't give a shit about prosecuting any of it? The FBI. Who's in charge of the Diddy stuff and nothing ever gets out and only Diddy's in trouble? The FBI. Who put Ghislaine Maxwell in prison and was like, there are no clients? What are you talking about? The FBI. Who covers up all the child trafficking and all the sex trafficking rings in America? The FBI, dude. They were running the Franklin scandal. They were flying planes of kids to DC from Nebraska for the fucking pedophile elite Epstein class, bro. It's the FBI. So sure, like, people are always like, oh, he did it to cover up for Bill and Hillary. I think it's bigger than that. It's about creating domestic terror incidents because this shit gives them legs for years. It lets them do all this fear tactic shit and scare everyone, and it also lets them do like Patriot Act type shit. So Paul was always, and the FBI, the CIA, Mossad, they're all an intelligence agency that works together. They all work together, okay? So Paul, in all likelihood, I think is part of this Lebensborn program of all these Nazis where he's either cloned or he's just, it doesn't matter, honestly. He's raised in this weirdo, Baal-worshipping occult family who is taking over the entire world together. They're all like Habsburg-descended, fucking lizard, Freemason, occult loser idiots. But more than that, they're just a bunch of dumb people who are in a family together, who are literally pulling the wool over our eyes, and we're not believing our own eyes and our own fucking ears, bro. Paul is Timothy. Fucking denying it. Stop not listening to your eyes. Go listen to your ears and listen to my top pinned video. I swear to God, boys. The dude has the same gravelly, grumbly voice. Voices are fingerprints, essentially. Especially if you have a musical ear, bro. But yeah, this is literally what the FBI does. It's not like this was like a fluke. This is like, oh, why did the FBI do this? Oh, they must have really needed to cover up the Hillary and Bill's files. What do you mean? They could have just pulled those out and fucking incinerated. Honestly, they probably already did that. It's more about this. It's about the spectacle. It's about the Boston bombing of it all. It's about the 9/11 of it all. It's about the Challenger explosion of it all. I mean, the FBI covers up Pizzagate. It covers up the Russia scandal. It covers up everything, dude. The fact that Trump hates Robert Mueller so much and wished and was glad that he died is hilarious, because I guarantee that Robert Mueller was hiding he did. He hid the whole Russia thing. He didn't let people know that Trump is literally fucking a Russian asset, if not an Israeli asset. You know what I mean? Like, the FBI works for the lizard elite, and they like this. They like fear. They like scaring us. They like you thinking that 175 fucking kids died in here, which maybe some did, but the main ones, the one everyone hears about, the two are Chase and Colton, who are the grandkids of this lady, Kathy Sanders, who writes conspiracy books about Oklahoma City and never touches this Paul Wysopal shit. Matter of fact, she does the opposite. She works for Paul Wysopal, and she goes, I saw Timothy McVeigh dead. There's no way that he could be alive and still be an FBI agent. It's almost like she's an FBI agent. And you know what? Her grandson looks exactly like if the fittest fed earther grew up and became an influencer. But too bad he died in the Oklahoma City bombing, so this couldn't possibly be true. It's not a big giant family that you're not in that are literally tricking you and doing domestic terrorism to your own fucking country and your own land, and then blaming it on us, you know, and then doing Patriot Act on top of us. But anyway, it's all this is just what the FBI does. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't an anomaly. All the FBI does is cook up and create new domestic terror incidents to scare us all. And then they cover up and protect the pedophiles who are doing the rest of the crimes in the world. They're a criminal cover-up organization. That's them, the FBI. Fuck them. Paul is Timothy McVeigh. Dude, it shouldn't be this fucking hard to talk to Paul Wysopal and get him on the phone and be like, hey, are you Timothy McVeigh? But he'll never do that because he's a bitch. He's a coward because he knows that we're right. So anyway, it's just the FBI. They're a bunch of lizards. Love you. Thank you. Have a good night. Good question. Bye.